Once. Kate was always the crazy one. He would say, "Can we go smash pumpkins?" And I'm like, "Sure, you want to?" Normally Grace and I are kind of the more reserved, so I was like, "All right, what can I say?" But thankfully, just the other day, Grace comes into the room and she has her hairbrush literally stuck in her hair. Like, it's completely stuck. She's trying to get it out. It took us a good 10 minutes to like yank it out of her hair. And I was like, well, that was interesting. So I've had the privilege of living across from Grace for the last 3 years, and I would like to welcome her to the stage.
I would like to point out that Anna doesn't just help me get hairbrushes out of my hair. In fact, the other day she helped me fake my death. I got the idea that to ask my boyfriend Sadie's, I wanted to put a chalk outline in front of his car and say, "I'm dying to go to Sadie's with you." So for those of you who walked past and saw her drawing a chalk outline around me, really sorry that I scared you. Well, good morning, Patrick Henry College. This is the part where I could say, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Grace Frank, but Lauren Dirk specifically requested that I not say that, so I'll skip that part. Some facts that you are less likely to know about me: I am a strategic intelligence major, and I come from heaven on earth, Dallas, Texas. I am not a Russian spy, although the giant map of the USSR in my room might imply otherwise. And I will never be able to tell you if I love books or music more. When I signed up to do this, I thought that I had plenty to say. After all, during every senior testimony I had ever listened to, I had spent the whole time planning what I would say in mine. Unfortunately, when I sat down to actually write this, I realized all I had done was come up with a bunch of different introductions. So I had 15 introductions and absolutely nothing else to say. So to fix that problem, I decided I'd just list everything I'd ever learned here, but you all want to enjoy your weekend, so I won't do that either. As much as I have learned here, I'm still very much a work in progress. And with that in mind, I don't want to preach at you. Instead, I want to tell you my story. I want to show you what God has been showing me during the past 4 years. And I hope that it gives you all encouragement as you are in various stages of the craziness of undergrad. Coming to PHC had never been my plan. In fact, I had started out the fall of 2011 at a different college. But God made it very clear that I was supposed to be at PHC, so I called my core admissions counselor, shout out to Erin Kay, and I found myself in Purcellville, Virginia 5 days after I had started orientation in a different state. I missed freshman orientation. I arrived with exactly one outfit that qualified as business casual, and I had no idea what a wild ride I had just gotten myself into. Last week, my beautiful roomie, Ellen Pritchard, told you all that for her, freshman year was a bright yellow glow. I then told her that there are two types of people. The ones who see freshman year as a bright yellow glow, and the ones who see it as a black hole that they will never escape from. I was definitely the second type. But all over-exaggerations aside, I came to campus as a homesick, overwhelmed girl. Sure, in high school, I thought I was smart. But in case you guys haven't noticed, it takes about one spinning paper to completely dispel that myth. So, of course, I did what anyone would. I decided that my plan was obviously the best one, and I would follow it completely. And I did. As hard as school and homesickness were, I stubbornly held on to my plans of my hard work. I spent all my time either studying or with the one friend that I thought I needed. I did manage to get myself into a relationship, but even then, I didn't really let anyone in. I held my boyfriend at arm's length just as I did everyone else. At the time, I didn't notice my trust issues. They came out later. The summer between my freshman and sophomore year brought a lot of changes. At the end of freshman year, my one strong friendship fell apart, and by the end of summer, my relationship with my boyfriend had fallen apart as well. As hard as I tried not to, I came back sophomore year, and with my close friends gone and my relationship in pieces. For the first time at PHC, it didn't matter if I trusted other people. I didn't have a choice. And that trust wasn't in vain. I started to make true friends. I met some of the coolest people on this earth, including Kate Spear, Melissa Mundy, and Kayla Griesemer. Kate and I bonded over the Jason Bourne trilogy, watching all 3 extended edition Lord of the Rings movies in a row, and studying / freaking out about Russian. Kayla and I shared a love of ice cream and chocolate that came in quite handy during our time as roommates. And Alyssa and I bonded by screaming at the world together. And trust me, guys, it actually does make you feel better. I also started to learn some important things. For instance, always make sure that your cell phone is on silent. I can say from experience and with complete confidence that the most terrifying moment of your life will not be a spending exam or a counterterrorism paper. Instead, it will be the moment that Dr. Mitchell says, "Let's read a psalm," and your phone starts ringing. Yeah, that was pretty awful. I learned a few other things sophomore year as well. I started to let some people in, but I still had a lot of trust issues. It wasn't until sophomore year that I noticed them. I think they come from a few places. First, oatmeal raisin cookies that look like chocolate chip. Part of it is also just how I am, #paranoid SI major for the win. But as much as I'd like to just pin it on my chosen profession, it goes a lot deeper than that. And sophomore year, I started to see it. One conversation in particular stands out in my mind. My RA and roommate at the time, Kayla Griesmer, was listening to me try to explain why I didn't like trusting people. She herself had invested a lot of time in me before I even considered having that conversation. After I tried to explain my reasons for keeping up walls with just about everyone, she looked at me and said, "Grace, I don't think your trust issue is with people. I think it's with God." That really threw me off. I had never recognized that I had trouble trusting God. I had accepted Christ when I was 5, and I had been consistent with my faith since my preteen years. But Kayla's words opened my eyes. I finally saw that while I trusted that God would take me to heaven when I died, I wasn't sure that I could handle all of the pain he might want to take me through on earth. And because I couldn't trust God's plan for me, that meant I had to trust my own. And let me tell you, that is a scary place to be. Instead of trusting God's plan, I had to make sure that my plan was perfect. And I'm sure there aren't any other perfectionists here. But in case you're out there, please remember that your perfectionism is only helping you if your plan is the one that's going to last. And I can't tell you how many times God has looked at my plan, laughed, and said, "How about no?" I wish I could tell you that this revelation during my sophomore year was a turning point. I wish I could say that I saw how silly my lack of trust was, I turned to God, and the next 2 years were completely smooth sailing. But to be honest, I fought my way through most of my time here. But one of the cool things is that no matter how much I fought back, God never stopped working on me. Looking back, I can see all the things that God chose to give me, even when I refused to look in his direction. He surrounded me with people who insisted on loving me, whether I wanted them to or not. Kate, Andrew, and Anna, I'm looking at you. The past 4 years have been extremely difficult, but God has blessed me with some amazing things. From awesome snowball fights, to Nerf wars and crisis management exercise planning meetings, to late nights with friends who will talk about anything and everything, I've made memories that will always stick with me. I found a fellow prankster in Kate Spear, and we pulled some awesome pranks, which started when we filled my RA's room with pictures of Justin Bieber. More recently, we used our pranking skills to vandalize my boyfriend's car with sticky notes with the help of Anna. My wing, the front porch, has truly been my home for the past 2 years. We have shared great discussions, Frozen sing-alongs, sorry Ellen, and of course, bagel ball in the hallway. You girls have meant more to me than I can say, and I have loved getting to know each and every one of you. And yes, I've actually studied some while I've been here too. My SI professors, Dr. Middleton, Dr. Benny, and Dr. Otten, have always pushed us to excel. As hard as Russian was, Dr. Aikman never gave up on us, although I'm pretty sure that we were purely comic relief for him. And this past year, Dr. Tanner has continually poured into my life, sharing my love of music, books, and never failing to remind me to sleep. So, as I stand here, less than 2 months from graduation, have I completely learned my lesson? No. I still struggle to remember that even if I don't have everything figured out, God does. And just ask Dr. Tanner, I'm still very much a perfectionist. But I have learned one thing, and please hear this. There are a lot of distractions out there, and some of them are very good things. But please remember that no matter what those good things are, none of them are worth anything without Christ. I want to leave you with this passage from Isaiah. I think we hear these words a lot, but sometimes we let them become normal. The wonder of these words should never be taken for granted. Isaiah 43 says, "But now thus says the Lord, he who created you, O Jacob, he who formed you, O Israel. Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name, you are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you. For I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. I give Egypt as your ransom, Cush and Seba in exchange for you, because you are precious in my eyes and honored, and I love you. I give men in return for you, peoples in exchange for your life. Fear not, for I am with you. I will bring your offspring from the east, and from the west I will gather you. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, do not withhold. Bring my sons from afar, and my daughters from the end of the earth, everyone who is called by my name, whom I created for my glory, whom I formed and made. I spent a lot of my time here convinced that God loved me, but felt that didn't mean he would protect me. In the end, his protection sometimes looks different than I would like it to. He doesn't always protect me from walking through the fire. He protects me while I'm in it. He has truly provided for me at every step of my journey, often in ways that I couldn't even see at the time. The past 4 years have been some of the most difficult, but they've also been the most rewarding and growing times of my life. My prayer is that God would continue to work in your lives and that you would never forget his promise.